What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and guys, I guess I spoke too soon when I said that hell had frozen over, because guess what? We're getting the Snyder Cut, bitches! After waiting for so long, clamoring for it, hashtagging the shit out of Twitter, Insta, and all these things, including to the point where Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, and Jason Momoa, and even Zack Snyder himself have been clamoring and requesting the WB people to release the Snyder Cut. We're finally getting it. And as many have speculated, it is going to be coming exclusively, as far as I know that is, to the HBO Max streaming service in 2021. So, as a fan of kind of what he did in the first two films, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, of course, I'm referring to the Ultimate Cut because it was more true and actually made more sense with all the plot holes filled in. I really did appreciate what Zack Snyder did. I didn't mind the color palette issues that people like to complain about. I didn't care that it wasn't Marvel because it's supposed to not be Marvel. It's supposed to be its own goddamn thing. Stop comparing it to Marvel, please. Also, I love Henry Cavill as Superman. His portrayal is bar none the best contemporary version that we've gotten of a silver screen Superman. And I think that him and Christopher Reeve will absolutely go down in history as the two best Supermans in the entirety of the history, in my opinion. And just the fact that we saw a more emotional and more human, more vulnerable Superman was definitely something that I really connected with. But the thing is that when tragedy struck and Zack Snyder couldn't release the film that he originally envisioned, and to add insult to injury, they ended up bringing in Joss Whedon of Avengers fame and everything to do rewrites, reshoots, and actually release a watered-down, bastardized Justice League film was an insult. It was an insult. And as I made reference to in my original Release the Snyder Cut video, studios have done this throughout the decades of several different videos and movies. They've hijacked films from filmmakers, decided to zag and zig and do all these different things, and sometimes the films have become great or better for it. Sometimes the films have just gone down in terrible bombs at the box office. And of course, Justice League, the theatrical cut, was one of those bombs. But anyway, they did that. A few years later now, we're getting the Zack Snyder version. And it was announced of all the different ways that it could have been on one of Zack Snyder's watch parties and commentaries that he did. He did Batman v Superman first, and then he did Man of Steel. And at the end of Man of Steel, apparently him and Henry Cavill actually got on together and announced for the masses that we were finally getting his original vision of the Snydercut Justice League, which I am over the moon with that this is happening. At the end of the day, I can't say enough about this. Obviously, you're going to have the naysayers. You're going to have the people that don't like DC, don't like Zack Snyder, don't like the way the films went. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We won, guys. Release the Snyder Cut has finally won. Now, the things that I'm curious about, unfortunately, all involve some of the speculative things that were kind of being brought up in the first place. Is it a work print? Is it a rough cut? Is it actually finished? Are there some things that are being left undone? Is it going to be recycling footage from the original Justice League film that was released in theaters? I'm sure it is, because a lot of that and some of the action sequences were shot and actually taken from the previous cut, most likely. But for everything that we got in that film, there were tens of thousands of different little details that were switched and flipped around, because Zack, through Vero, has released so much stills, footage, and with all the trailer clips and all the different deleted scenes and clips we saw in the marketing of the film originally before it was released, there is so much more of that film that was done than we ever thought. And what was once conspiracies that turned to myths that turned to reality, and as a result have brought the Zack Snyder cut to light, I just feel like there's no way that we're not going to get a different spin and kind of version of the Justice League on this, especially with the fact that it's going to be Zack Snyder. It's going to be more consistent to what he had in his mind. And hopefully, with this, brings him coming back to the DC foray, and he's actually able to do more DC films, up to and including maybe some more Henry Cavill Superman films, which I would really love. And honestly, I feel like they should have done in the first place, to be quite honest. But with all that being said, I am totally on board for this. Of course, I'm going to have to get HBO Max because I want to see what we should have seen in the theaters in the first place. And you know what? Even if it doesn't get put into theaters, I hope that they release it on Blu-ray for anyone who doesn't have any of the streaming apps or memberships, or anyone who doesn't want to sign up for that, because, again, an official release would complete and make it full circle for Zack's trilogy and vision that he wanted. And beyond that, I really do hope that we get to see a lot of cool things in here that were omitted, and that at the end of the day, it makes the trilogy whole. And who the hell knows, maybe we'll be seeing Darkseid in Justice League 2, and all those things coming together. And yeah, I just couldn't be happier. I mean, it's been long enough, and I think we're all entitled to enjoy it, go check it out, and finally see what we were missing in the first place. But all in all, guys, that's all that I have for today's video. If you like this video, drop a like down below, comment, and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, make sure you hit that bell button. That way you never miss a moment of my content. And guys, don't forget to let me know how you feel down in the comments about this news that we are finally getting the Snyder Cut. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know down below. And until next time, guys, as always, I'm Jay. So take care, and bye.